Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Thursday.
Again.
So welcome to Brother Empowerment. Like we always do, if this is your first time, Brother Empowerment is about empowering brothers by becoming aware and basically combating all of those negativisms associated with male competition or being a man in America. Another great thing is we got a lot of things that are coming up. May 30th, we're going to have a round table discussion. Nothing but men, but women you can watch via Facebook Live. But it's going to be men present and having a discussion on finally burying toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be looking at masculinity throughout different cultures to have kind of a healthy conversation about that. What else is coming up? Anything that's coming up? Oh, the 31st. Matter of fact, that whole weekend, you want to make your way to Office and Art because on the 31st, I will actually have a poetry night where I'm going to be reading from my book, Random Thoughts, Phases of a Poetic Mind, but also giving you kind of a backstory about it. So for those who have been begging and asking and nagging when I'm going to do, because that's what it was, nagging of when I'm going to actually do some poetry, do some singing, do some talking. Well, this is your night, and there's only one night only. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again, so you better be there. That Saturday, we're going to have international contemporary artist Rodney White will be in the building, coming all the way from Brooklyn, New York, to tell you the ins and outs of how to be successful, especially those creatives. And then on that Sunday, we're going to have cupcakes and create opportunity, so you want to be there. But also on that Sunday, which is June 2nd, we're actually going to start our second cohort for the Certified Love Advocacy Program. So if you are interested in that, you know how y'all do, y'all like to wait to graduation and say nobody told you. But if you are in there, you want to make sure that you come. So that's everything that I have to go over. But now we want to introduce our special guest.
Special guests?
No, just special guests.
Okay.
Uncle Mark's already been here.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, all right. Okay.
He's trying to take your thunder.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Tell the people who you are.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm so honored to be on Brother Empowerment for the first time. I am Kimberly Dixon. I'm an author, speaker, and life coach. And I'm just honored to be here to share this space with you all tonight.
Well, we're kind of happy to have you here.
We are actually very happy to have you here.
Kind of, just a little bit.
With your fly haircut and everything.
Well, you know, I had to get my haircut today. You know, I don't show up anywhere looking ready.
Well, Uncle Marcus, tell the people who you are because it might be the first time them seeing you.
I am Marcus Johnson. I'm Uncle Marcus. I'm Cordell's biological uncle, if that's what you can call it.
Everybody else is uncle too.
Yeah,
Neighborhood uncle.
A lot of adopted nieces and nephews and godchildren. So.
Not too many adopted, just certain ones now. Don't everybody. So, how was our week?
It's been great. It's been very busy, exhausting, but still just a really good week.
Just a good week?
No, it's been a great week.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Look, it's been a girlfriend week. You know that. Come on, man.
How about you, Uncle Marcus?
I woke up all day, every day this week. That's a good week.
What don't make me run up in here?
What about you, bro?
No, it's definitely been pretty good. The weather's warm, so everybody who knows me knows that when weather is warm, I'm live. So I'm happy these days.
I know it's like 90 degrees in this house, y'all. We had to turn the AC on. I'm sitting on ice right now.
Who has the AC on when they're not home? You gonna pay my light bill? Ain't y'all gonna pay my light bill?
Technically, you know, they say it costs more to actually cool your house if you don't leave it running.
That's what they say, but I just
I
can't
need
do
to see the
it.
math on that.
You see it every month when you pay that bill.
Okay, so we had a few comments this time about different topics, and those who suggested topics, we definitely want to thank you for that. As soon as I find it, as soon as I find it. Okay, so first question: How our brothers are being portrayed as father figures in the world today? Empire, power, family matters, relationships between fathers and sons and daughters. Meaning, how do you feel about media and their portrayal of brothers today? Positive, negative, in between?
The smorgasbord, and it's just a lot of everything out there. I think for the most positive avenues are not widely put out on television anymore. You have to go find them.
Yeah.
You have to go to the paid streaming services or certain shows to find those real positive. I don't say stereotypical, but somewhat in some sense stereotypical, positive male role model father figures. They're not just out there anymore. Because Family Matters and Fresh Prince and all that stuff. That's I think it's in syndication in some places, but for the most part, those kind of shows are not out there anymore.
You don't see
the Cosby Show.
Yeah, you don't see family-oriented shows out there. You see these. I hate to use the word stereotypical, but the stereotypical roles that black men play, just in music, that's where we're gonna be successful at, and that's not automatically true. It's like there are some great fathers out there, but to look at what we see on television, we're not being portrayed in that way. Yeah. You don't see males in a loving father role who knows how to nurture and sincerely nurture and take care of children. And there are some out there, they're doing it, but you don't see that portrayed by the media.
Maybe Blackish.
Yeah.
Blackish, yeah.
Okay, that's true.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I don't watch it for that very reason. I don't watch television for that very reason. Because for the most part, what I hate about television and movies that surrounding men in general, the good men, for one, they always make it seem like you have to go through something in order to be good.
Right. Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go to jail to appreciate life? I don't have to go there. Yeah. Why do I have to do drugs? Why do I have to cheat? Why do I have to do all of these things? Some people just don't go that route, and I don't feel like it's fair, and it's almost teaching people you have to do bad in order to be good.
Yeah.
So I just stay clear from all of that. I really don't watch anything because I can't think of anyone that I really would say, yeah, watch this show.
I really am with you on that, Jay. I don't even have cable anymore because it just wasn't worth my investment. So when people are talking about what's going on shows, I don't know. And it's like when they're talking about the characters, I have no idea who they're talking about because I choose not to have that image of our people embedded in my mind. I'm just like, I just don't want to participate in that. And I don't watch the news because of this, the way we're being portrayed day to day. And it's like, there's so much more to people than what's you're seeing on the news every night. So I don't watch the news, and it's like I'm in a rabbit hole. But I choose what I take in, and what's on TV now is just not something that I'm interested in taking in.
Yeah, but the way things are now, you don't need to really watch TV to see anything positive. The internet is a wonderful tool when if that's what you want to use it for, positivity. You can go find whatever you want. Find whatever you want. I don't have cable myself either, so.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about giving away. We got DirecTV. But the good thing about DirecTV is this is not a plug for DirecTV. If I miss it on the East Coast, I can watch it on the West Coast.
Yeah,
but it's really more so for the kids so they can have their things. And it's But yeah, I really don't watch it. I'm trying to think if there's. Yeah, I'm a YouTube person.
Right,
I am too.
Yeah.
What I'm mostly watching is 119 Minutes. If anybody want to know, I'm usually researching, learning something. That's what I'm a historian, so I watch random history things. We got a few people that's on, so we definitely want to give them a shout out. My mom is on. Hey, how you doing? Let me see. You got Michael Jenkins on, triumphant.
What's up, Michael?
And then you got Natanya, who's on.
Hey, Natanya.
You got Isaiah, who only said Kim, so.
Hey, Isaiah.
We just not here.
We not here. Okay, and then Natanya said.
Because they know where the love is at for real. I appreciate you, man.
Joy, love is here. But it says fathers are still misrepresented. Is what Natanya said. Ghost is ghost on emotional connection, and Lucius Lion is a lion, as in he'll devour his cubs for success. It's not cool at all.
That's
right there.
Ooh, yeah, that's crazy. Because the way she said that, I'm not sure. I know that Marcus watched the I'm not sure if y'all two watch it. But Ghost is he's a gangster, drug dealer, trying to go legit. And so he really is an absentee father in the emotional sense. His kids have what they need from on the material sense, they go to the best schools, they wear the best clothes, they live in a great neighborhood, but he is literally just Casper when it comes to their emotional health.
Really get tired of people in television portraying fathers in that light, because there's some really great fathers out there who are present in their children's lives, but they make men believe this is what a man is.
Right.
And that's not true.
Right.
It's like you can be sensitive and caring and loving and still represent men in the best kind of way, not feeling distant and just emotionalist and like suck it up. You know, don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And I just never believed in that mentality.
Right.
Nathaniel also said we need the Uncle Phil's.
Yeah.
And the Carl Winslow's again.
We just talked about that.
And then she was saying in connection to that, she said, I don't watch Empire. I will watch Power, but definitely not for family portrayal at all. Nathaniel said, that's right, Kim. We don't need that negativity in our daily psyche. Donna Shell Florence Rhodes is watching, my cyber cousin. Hey! Okay, Nathaniel also said, I have to watch the news, but even that goes through a streaming process. WRAL is local, so that's a go-to daily for weather and local issues. And then Isaiah came back with saying, hey, y'all, but we're not going to talk to him. We're not talking to him. So the next question was about dating women with children.
Well, I don't know nothing about dating women, so I'm gonna let y'all handle that.
I can help you with that.
Okay, go.
Well,
I can help you.
Yeah, it's just when you meet a woman and you find out she has kids, you pretty much know that's the package you're getting right all the time. So there's no need to go into it thinking, you know, it's just gonna be a certain way. If you've never dealt with a woman with kids, there's nothing that can prepare you for that. You just need to know that when you meet a woman with kids, it comes with a package. And you need to know that there's going to be some adjustment in your life. So if that's not what you're prepared for, then you need not even undertake that task, because it's a task. I mean, you have to get to know her, you have to get to know her kids have to get to know you. And me and my wife were together for like 20 years before we ever got married. And we broke off a couple of times in there. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, her kids are my kids, because I was there ever since her son was 1 and her daughter was like 3 or 4 months old. But she was married before. So when I started talking to her, naturally, I understood she had kids. And when you go into it, most of the time, most cats aren't even thinking about, you know, she got kids. They're just there, you know, because she looks good. You know, they feel like she's got something good going for herself, and they just want to, you know, see where it goes. But when you realize there are kids there, there's more than one person that you're dating. You're dating all 3 of those people.
Yep.
And kids can be tough. And when it's not their father, they have just by nature a resentment. Unless it was just a bad dad. But if he's a decent father and he's there, there's gonna be some resentment there. So you gotta get past that part. But kids, like I tell most people, kids are wonderful. But other people, kids, and you coming into another situation, it's always difficult. It's never gonna be easy. It just takes some growing and some getting used to it.
Unless the parents dead or something.
Yeah. And it's still, you know, it's still some adjustment, because if the other parent, like I said, was a good parent, then that parent, those kids are still going to be attached to that parent that's not there. They're gonna be, you know, missing whatever that parent brought.
Gotcha. What's your take on it, bro?
Well, first of all, I want to say that all the stuff he said is correct. So first of all,
Of course.
so I mean, you know, so I will say though that I've had unique experience of dating women with children. I've done it a few times. And the first time was when I was about 20 years old. She was actually older than me. She was 23. She had a couple of kids. And so at that age, it was more so, just like Michael said, it was definitely more of the, wow, this is the first time experience for me. Okay, whatever. She has kids. Okay. So now, at the age of now, I'm going to be 33 this year. And I'm still, I won't say still, I'm much more careful now, because it is, you know, especially the age I am now, certain people looking for different things. When I was 20, I was just looking to have fun.
Mhm.
I mean, so now at 33 or almost 33, it just really depends. So if I'm meeting kids now and I'm interested in her, I know that potentially if it's going to go somewhere, like I said, I need to consider the whole entire package. And I just can't think about, well, it's just going to be her and I. No, it's going to be all of us if it goes to that route. And certain, like I said, certain people looking for certain things. Some people or some women, I have heard, some women say, I'm not looking for someone for my kids. They have a father, blah, blah. I'm looking for someone for me. I've actually heard that before. Now I don't know how that played out in the long term, but that's what I was told. And so it is definitely different, and in some ways it's a little bit more challenging. I might say difficult, but it's more challenging because time management plays a part. Schedules have a tendency to change frequently on the drop of a dime. Finances, all of that. So it's different. And so what I will say is that to all the brothers out there, if they're even considering is don't play around. It's not nothing to play with. I mean, you shouldn't play with a woman anyway, but it's definitely, she has children, definitely shouldn't play around because, like I said, all those things all those things come into play and they're amped up to a degree. All that is just heightened to 10th power. I mean, spontaneity takes is different, all that.
Yeah. You just go into it, and like I tell most people, when you start dating a woman with kids, you got to think in the mindset. So if you're going to be with this person, she's got 2 kids. You can't go get a 2-bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got financially, you got to think, okay, I'm not thinking for this type of house. I got to have this type of house. Because if she's got 2 kids, and you want another kid, that's 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 bedrooms automatically. You got to get, instead of a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom or starter home. There's also, you got daycare. And you may or may not have to pay it, but you still have to factor in the fact that when you took on her, you took on all of her responsibilities. So financially, you take on those responsibilities. And you may not be paying it directly, but indirectly, it's going to affect your income.
I will honestly say, I know some people going to give me slap about my answer, but to be honest, like me, if a person doesn't already have children, I actually don't think it's a good thing unless it's a unique person. There's some people that are just great with that. The reason why I say that is most women who are parents, they are always in mommy mode. So you never get an opportunity to really get to know them because they're going to always be like, I'm thinking about my child. And so if you're immature, you won't understand that, and you have to be creative and get to know her because in her mind, even if you take her out to dinner, she's like, hold on, let me think about how much I'm going to be spending. Or if you're going to be spending what we're going to take back for the kids, I got to be back. All of these things. And I don't think people realize that when you are a parent, your identity sometimes is absorbed in taking care of your children. And I'm saying that as a custodial parent and one who's married, it's like when me and my wife go out, we talk about the kids. We go looking for clothes. We look for clothes for the kids. And we're like, no, we're not getting anything. But I think that some people, if you're going to date a person, I go back to you, if you're going to date a person with kids, I think you need to be more intentional. And I think you need to be very mature with it because you're walking into something. Take the kid equation out. The kid equation out just for a moment. This person has different experiences that you as one who doesn't have children may not have ever experienced.
Right.
And you got to be open to that. And this person is coming at a different level. You bring the kids in. Now, whatever you do could be a part of that child's development. Even the things that you're doing indirectly. Because kids always pick up the things you don't teach them. So you just got to be careful with that. You like to say something?
I had a question actually because you said that some women just say that I want, this is about me and not my kids. I don't know how you would differentiate that because your kids are such an integral part of your life. And again, as you said, with the scheduling, the finances, and everything about their life, how do you differentiate, I'm going to date you and it's just about me and you when I've got children?
I guess in that sense, I'm one of the women that I heard that from. I mean, her and her child's father were not together, but he was very involved.
Okay.
And so they co-parented very well. So in that sense, she was looking for someone to be with. I mean, of course, it was going to be a unit thing eventually, but I guess in the short term, she looked for someone she was compatible with.
And that's what her to be selfish.
Somebody to be a daddy is what
Right.
Well, she want to be selfish with her time, and that's a good thing. That's that good selfishness that you need to have. Like, what about me?
Yeah.
We got a lot of comments, y'all.
People have a conversation with themselves.
A whole bunch of comments. Listen. Natanya said, Black men in particular always portrayed as emotionally disconnected. Triumphant said, I can admit that I was one to believe in the mentality as a stepfather. It still is difficult to connect with my stepchildren in the emotional sense. So he's talking to that. Isaiah said, I feel some men try to win the kids over thinking they can win the woman too.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And Donshell said, it's a total package deal. Take all or none.
That's really
That's
real,
what it
though.
should
That's
be.
really
But
real,
she's
though.
in a total package, so you don't count. Joshua said, I tried it, but I just can't deal with baby daddy drama. And he laughed. He said, so I'd rather do no kids if it's possible.
And that's a very, I mean, some people don't like that, but that's a very upfront and transparent thing to say.
Especially today.
Yeah.
Natalia said, possible stepfathers need to understand that you have value in the input of the raising stepmothers the same way. Your opinion matters in the co-parenting scenario. She also said mothers need to make sure that their baby daddies are in their place, and the fathers need to make sure that exes are settled in the best way before introducing other people to the narrative. Seriously.
That's true. It's like, because what happens so many times is all the ties have not been cut.
Yeah.
So you're bringing in this other person, and then you got all these egos in play, and then we're trying to exhibit that over the children.
Right.
It's like, okay, I may not be living in the household, but they're my kids, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so you haven't really severed all the ties between you romantically or even in other ways, financially, or just the way you interact with each other. So now you've got all of these blurred lines, and now you've got this another man or other woman in the picture, and there's nothing clear.
Right. Yeah.
So you have egos coming into play, and things get ugly sometimes.
Oh, it's about to get heavy, because Triumphant also said the problem that he had with connecting with his children is because their biological father died of cancer. He said he still persevered, but that caused a dissonance. It goes with what Uncle Mark said, especially if they have a presence, a strong presence, and they leave.
Because it's a loyalty.
And then Natanya having a conversation with Joshua. Lori said, hey.
Hey, Lori.
And then she said, yes, it's hard out here in these streets. Even that's planned. He said in the marriage. Okay, most of this. Oh, and Lori said she disagreed with me. Hey, Lori. But she said she disagreed with me. Frederick said, what's up? She said respectfully, though. I'm not sure what part she disagreed with, because she came back and said, nah, that part I agree with. Make up your mind, Lori, make up your mind. And then Natanya said, as a mother, I have to learn how to separate my identity with my duties. And I am me with children and without children, and if that makes sense.
Yeah,
my children contribute to my personality in a healthy way, as I don't parent my potential partners, at least not intentionally.
That's good.
Jay, that being said, I do know that there are a lot of women who date a lot of dudes who just really, for lack of a better word, just aren't marriage material, because they're not adults yet. So you end up marrying another child. You gotta help him figure out and navigate your kids, because if you deal with a man who has never had any responsibility, doesn't know anything about kids, never had to deal with anyone with kids, he's gonna be blind coming into that. He's not gonna know how to function with those kids. He's not gonna know any of that. He's gonna be learning just like they're learning.
But we talked about this before, though. What people don't talk about a lot of times is how you attracted to what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
If you used to taking care of people, most of the time they marry somebody they're going to take care of.
Well, even with women, when we're dating, if you have a mommy type personality.
Oh, y'all got to talk up. She said she can't hear us.
Okay, when you have a mommy type personality,
Not so
which means.
But go ahead.
Ooh. Oh my.
Right.
No saying you gotta talk up. You can keep talking.
Like,
You loud enough.
I'm good behavior since we are broadcasting.
You got subwoofers in the throat.
Because women have a nurturing personality, or I'm just gonna let you go. Because he's trying to bait me, y'all. Every morning he's trying to bait me, but I'm trying not to go there. But even me, I don't have any children. It's like, but because I am nurturing and loving, and I have nieces and nephews, I can go into mommy mode in a split second. And I know a lot of women, when they're dating people, you will find yourself mothering them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm good at detecting that. I don't want to date anybody and mother them.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But it's easy to do because I am caring and I am a caregiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, so it's easy. And then people have a hard time differentiating. And then, again, they end up in relationships with somebody who's not mature enough because they are a mother.
Right.
And they naturally mother people.
Yeah.
And they've been mothers for a while.
Right.
If you're in your mid to late 30s, you've been a mother since you've been in your 20s, you've been a mother for a long time. So you've seen a lot of stuff. You understand a lot of stuff. But if a guy hasn't been in that type of relationship and doesn't know anything about dealing with kids because it's his preference not to, and then all of a sudden he meets this drop dead, gorgeous woman with kids and he's all in, he's navigating that. It's going to be very tough for him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be used to, want to take her out whenever he wants to. He's going to be used to wanting to do single things. Like, I call you, we'll be over there in 2 hours. When you got kids, it don't work.
Matter of fact, I know somebody, they ended up getting married, but that was the hardest part in their marriage. He didn't have kids, but she did. So anytime decisions was made, he was thinking more from a selfish side. But it was innocent of like, I want to take you out of him. Yeah. And she like, we got bills. We got bills and the kids got this trip, we got blah, blah, blah. So it was frustrating for him in the beginning because it's like, well, when do I get time with you? I love the kids, that's why I'm with you, but what about you? And I don't think that people are honest enough to say, you know what? A lot of single mothers go into survival mode.
Yeah, that's true.
And not saying it was their fault or anybody's fault while they're in there, but when you start taking care of people, you do go into survival mode and you start making decisions from there. And even if you don't think that you're being motherly, you are in those decisions because you say, well, why would you do that? You need to do better with your money. No, I'm young and I got this to splurge on. You know what I'm saying? You don't know about my savings. But a lot of people that I have experienced have been like that. And I don't think they know it because they have been living their life as a mother for so long. And then telling people that they need to step up. But the truth of the matter is they may not need to step up. They may be right on track with where they are. It's just that a life event caused you to kind of pass that step or sometimes skip it. So I don't think that we talk about that enough. Look, I know they're gonna get on me. Natalia says she don't want to marry another child.
And this Don Shell said, "Shut up." I think she's talking to you, Jay.
I skipped it. I skipped it.
Marika said, "Hey family, what's up, Marika's man?" Or Rico, as he's called. So yeah.
Where you been, boy? But anyway, Africa said he would be like that during the relationship. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. And then Natalia said, I have mothered, but not on purpose, but I have been fathered too by single fathers. And it can cause conflict. You not my daddy. And John was like, preach. I don't know what you're talking about preach for. And then Lori, I don't care. She's talking about she been fathered too. And they having a whole conversation.
I've been fathered and I'm mothered.
Yeah.
And Africa said again, he was like that prior to marriage. My son was 2 when I got married. That was never an issue. Some men are family men, some aren't. Some instantly get it and enjoy being a dad and husband. Yeah, we said that earlier after we agree. But we do agree there's some special men out there that can do that. Isaiah says, step up. Single mothers need to step down in order to find them.
Yeah, he says some single mothers need to step down in order to find a man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, She got on you last week. She said you don't need to take no days off. But
Oh, what?
she said she knows that she's motherly. And he's about don't start. I'm gonna start because you've been ghost and nobody know what be going on with you. But we glad you're here. Okay.
That's actually what it is. I never heard of it like that.
Could you look at the other question because I'm going back and forth.
Oh yeah, no problem. So the next one is from Tara, and it says, this was interesting. She said, top 5 men with celebrity that helped the movement of brother empowerment, and she said examples of men with platforms. The other side of that, top 5 men with platforms that damage brother empowerment. She said named or anonymous. That's interesting. I was looking at that. I was like,
I will.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's about every rapper that is.
What, positive or negative?
Negative. On the negative side.
Yeah.
And not to say that the music today is just garbage. It's just the content. The content is not like, just like I tell people, when we came up, we had garbage rappers. They just weren't out like what they are now. Most of the content is the same thing. One, sex, drugs. There's no real message in the music anymore, except that. So when that's constantly just being fed to you, and that's all you listen to all day, it impacts you. And I've seen it in the last 30 years since I was 20 years old, how the music has changed everybody. So if you don't have a nice car, if you don't have a big house, and if you don't have a bank account, that fine woman that you think you're gonna get, you're not gonna get her. That's what they portray to you. You gotta have all this to achieve that stuff.
I was broke when I got my wife.
I'm sorry.
I was broke when I got my wife.
You're not talking about you're much older than the ones he's birthday.
Much older.
Much.
So, but there's this perception today that if you don't have all that, you're not successful. And being successful is coming from poverty to actually own the house. When nobody in your family ever owned the house.
Right.
When nobody in your family ever went to college and you went. That's being successful. But today's music has put a price tag on being successful. If you
age.
Yeah. If you gotta ask the cost of the shoes, you don't need to buy them. So they're just saying, okay, I just go in there, I put this money there, I just bring it up. And whatever the bill is, I pay it.
And I think the other way that it negatively impacts people is it puts this mentality in men and women by any means necessary.
Yep.
So you're gonna get those nice things, you're gonna have a car, you're gonna have a house, you're gonna have the shoes or whatever. But I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get it. And that means sometimes you're gonna sell yourself, whether that's physically or whatever you choose to do illegally, just so that you can get these things and be successful. But what kind of character are you building by doing those types of things?
Yeah. And then you get these things and you have all this stuff, but you're living poor. You make enough money to pay for it and maintain the persona that you are this person, but every day you go home and eat sardines and crackers.
Because they're talking about making money, they're not talking about building wealth.
Exactly.
And it was like, and they're not teaching that, and partly because they don't know anything about it.
Right.
It's like because money is something that we haven't talked about historically. It's like, so when you start talking about, making all this money, nobody's talking about how to save some of it and how to make it grow. They're just everything that comes in, they're spending it as they make it.
And the flip side of that is, I do believe that some of these rappers, contrary to what people believe, everybody thinks most of these rappers grew up in the street. Some of these rappers just have that street persona. Some of these don't have been to college and understand that, I gotta save this money. But that don't sell records.
Right.
But I think the bigger thing is what she's saying is like, who's using her platform? Like, and I was going through my mind, like, the only people that I can think of that who currently use their platform is like David Banner, Killer Mike, Nipsey before he passed.
R.I.P. Even JC.
I go back and forth with that, and I'll explain that.
He's
later.
more of a he's very silent and behind the scenes when he is. So, but yeah.
But I use my words. I gotta use my words wisely. But I'll give a great example. Saul Williams. That's my favorite poet of all times.
Yeah.
Saul Williams uses his platform to empower.
Right.
But Saul Williams also has his same number publicly listed in the phone book. So if you call, you get his answer machine, or he will pick up. And I remember calling in grad school, and he answered the phone, didn't know me, but we had a conversation like he knew me, and he was telling me things to be successful, how he got to jump off, and he said, call back anytime. Okay. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Whereas some people, they do nice things, but they also do destructive things at the same time.
True.
And so that's why I'm on the fence with Jay-Z. Yeah. Yes, I'm grateful for the things that he's doing and the people that he's empowering, but I can't ignore some of the destructive behaviors that he's either contributed to, have done, or influenced. Yeah. And so that's why I'm like,
yeah, I do think that when we talk about people, especially with celebrity, that are using their platform for purely positive purposes, I think that we're going to run into more of that. These people, especially people in my age or older, have done some dirt in their life. Some have done more dirt than others. So there's going to be and I'm not sure if you're looking for someone that was purely positive or someone that's just doing mostly positive things. And you're right though, because Jay-Z has done and said some things that will make people question his authenticity. But
he just cheated on Beyonce.
You're right.
I'm just saying, we're talking about recent stuff. I'm not talking about when he first came out. And I like Jay-Z. So it's not even that, but when you talk about the image, for those who already were on the fence about marriage, think about how many memes came out. If Beyonce can't keep a man from cheating, what y'all think? You know, these are memes out here, and he's influenced a whole culture by that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And so I'm not taking away from the things that he's done, but I do have to acknowledge the destructive things that he has also done.
Yeah, because I think the man this behavior is acceptable.
Yeah, if you have money.
Well, let me see. I'm thinking of another person. Another person that I think is destructive. I do think that Steve Harvey is destructive.
Oh yeah.
I think that he has allowed. Now, don't get me wrong. Steve Harvey used to come to Augusta, my hometown. He wasn't always this way. I think his celebrity has gotten the best of him, and he's making irrational judgment, and he's giving not sound advice.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else. To be honest, I think Tyler Perry is destructive as well. I think he falls prey to what a lot of men do this. They want to empower women, but at the expense of men. And that's not what it's about. You can bring awareness to something without bashing another.
Yeah.
And for men in his plays, all the men were greasy and shined up and had muscles, didn't really have on shirts. In all of his stories, every man had a history. And even when there were good men, like in Four Colored Girls, even Carrie Russell's character had a good supportive husband. She had nothing good to say at the end about that. We got to stop that narrative. We can uplift women. We can uplift our sisters, but we don't have to down our brothers at the same time. And so those are destructive behaviors, and he's doing it subtly. And people are like, I love this place, and you see why. And we shouldn't do that. And so those are people I think who are most destructive, in my opinion. Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry.
I got you. I think there's a lot of those. The first people that flashed in my mind for positive was Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. Although he had stuff that he did. He was teaching about wealth, and he was teaching about brother empowerment. He brought the people that were in the game with him along with him. They were his team. So him. Brothers that like Common doesn't get talked about a lot. But Common's a very positive brother. Always has been.
He always has.
Always has been. So that's one of the first brothers I talk about or I think about. Saul Williams.
And that's one of the few that I don't know of any scandal around.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been his authentic self. Yeah. He has never hid anything. He's always been his authentic self. And so people can't say, "Oh, you're like that." He's like, "No, that's in my music. So this is me." He expressed himself through this rap. He's always been a very positive brother. I think about Sinbad. Always been a very positive brother.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that just because you slip up that makes you a negative image. Yeah. I do think it's all about how you own it. I think that determines it, because here's the other thing. Like, one of the things that my wife and I do, if we start an argument, we usually don't argue, and we definitely don't argue in front of the children. But if we start an argument in front of the children, we let them see us resolve it in front of them as well.
That's healthy.
Because we don't want them to think, oh, mom and dad had an argument. They don't. A lot of people didn't see their parents reconcile. They just saw the argument, and we are mindful of that. We're like, nope, we started this in front of them. Let's go ahead and finish it, and we've actually talked it out, and we have a conversation with them. So that doesn't mean that just because you had an argument in your marriage, all of a sudden you got an unhealthy marriage. No, it's all about how you handle it and fix it. Guys, we got so many comments. Oh my goodness.
With the children, that's teaching them how to be better communicators.
Yeah.
So that you don't leave things unresolved and just walk away angry and now you're living in the same household not speaking to each other for 2 weeks. I've seen it. That's some craziness to me.
Yeah.
But you're teaching them how to communicate effectively.
Well, also people will yell and argue, but they don't know how to be like, how do we reconcile it? Like I tell you, like when I fall out with people, I'm be so confused. Kim will tell you, I thought I'm confused. I was like, so what's the next step? Because I be trying to move on, and I don't know how we gonna move on. But some people don't know how to reconcile, and they don't know how to come back and say, so what we gonna do? Are we gonna stay mad, or we gonna fix this thing? Yeah. Malika said, it's the natural teacher in me, but it doesn't last long. I turn into a stern black mama that will let your skin up your knees because you don't want to listen. And Michael Jenkins said not true, but I don't know what he was saying not true too. And then Isaiah said Steve Harvey. What is the music industry missing today? He said Shaka Khan, talent. And Michael,
I concur with that.
And Travis said he was homeless when he got his wife. You the man, he a big man.
He said that's an anomaly.
Yeah,
sure. Right. And then he said, I had to drive to no longer stay in that position, and she saw that and decided to build with me. I like that. Our brother Kerwin in another one. Yeah. Kerwin is a great example in our community who's actually becoming a celebrity, who used, the things that he's done, his mistakes in his past, to champion others not to follow that path. That's what I'm talking about. Like, he's not a bad person because of what he did. He's a great person because he realized what he did wasn't a great thing and was a seed for him to do better things. Right. And every day he's out there just doing something positive for the community. He made me feel bad. I'd be like, oh, let me go and do a march or something.
Like, I need to be doing more in my life.
The Tank said, Mike, remember the time when we, as a people, didn't have to look, but just when we came to finding and keeping a mate. Look at our ancestors. They had straps and stayed together, happily together for the love and dedication. This generation is weak in every area, seriously.
I don't like that generalization, but that's another talk for another time.
It's a lot. And she said, Miss Kim, you're right. The narrative is get money, not build generational wealth. And then Joshua said most of them sell their souls, talking about the music industry. The same say everybody want to play house, but don't want to buy one. Why I'm not married now?
That's why I'm not married. It's like, you're not playing house with me.
Right.
It's like, you're not living with me. And I think one time when I was in my 20s, somebody stayed with me for 2 weeks, and I was like, no, baby, we're not doing this. It's like, I'll be by myself forever. And that's just me personally. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with anybody who chooses to do that, but I'm saying that doesn't work for me. Yeah. And I was like, so that's just a choice that I've always made. I'm like, you can't live with me. I'm not living with you.
And again, I'm like this. If you want to play house, say that you want to play house. We don't have to don't down marriage because you want to play house. We got to stop doing it. Like, we have to compare it to something to validate it. No, you don't. If you want to play house, you just want to play house. And that's what I tell people. If you want to do something bad, just say you want to do something bad. Don't try to find an excuse.
Well, it's like, I think we all use excuses and justifications for our own behavior. And it's like, so whenever we're doing anything, it's like we're going to follow that up with a justification why that's right. Yep. And it might be right for you, but it ain't necessarily right for everybody. And when we try to put that on everybody, that's when we have problems. It's like, it might work perfectly fine for you. It's like, but it doesn't work for me. But the way we justify things and make excuses for things is saying this has got to be this way, or in every other way it's incorrect. And that's not true.
Well, it's even like when I listen to people who give marriage advice who's not married, Never been married.
Yeah.
And I do see, and I'm like, that's why you single. You know, I do look at it, and I'm like, you know what? And they give a lot of advice because it sounds practical, and I'm like, no, that's just stupid. That's just gonna send you right down the road to being permanently single. And we gotta stop. We gotta stop that, and we gotta call people out there like, no, you can't talk on certain things. You just can't talk on.
I'm saying that the marriage counselor. Like, oh, who marriage counselor? You ever been married? No.
Well, you can't counsel.
You gotta agree. That don't mean you a marriage counselor.
Now, it's some special people. Yeah, it's some good people out there, but
you're going with the theory. You're not going with the practice.
Correct.
You just saying, okay, the book told me to do this, but my wife told me that ain't working. What she told me to do in the book.
Coming in with meat on your eye. See what happened to you? Malika said, in sales records talking about the rap. We just don't own the rap game or the narrative. Joshua said most people rap on stuff people want to hear and never live the lifestyle they rap about. And Nathaniel said we can only judge celebrities for what they are, celebrities. They don't get a lot of merit with me, honestly. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Celebrities are not my spokespeople. Ali, on the other hand, he was about that life in and out the ring, family. Malika say people cheat, even on Beyonce. Shut up, girl. We just proved this point. And then I don't know what Mike said about that. And then Joshua say people look to celebrities for relationship goals, which is a no for me. It's a no for me as well.
For a long time.
Exactly. Nathaniel said exactly, Jay. Don't enjoy bashing brothers to lift sisters. I'm adamantly against that narrative. Even celebrity relationships is seen as entertainment. That's what Triumph said. And then Nathaniel said that's awesome about the reconciliation, which we talked about. Devontae said we have to allow our Malcolm Littles to become Malcolm X's. Charlemagne.
Even a broke clock is right twice a day. I don't like Charlemagne, but that's true.
I actually like Charlemagne. We'll talk about that another time. And then Isaiah said, Steve Harvey can't tell me nothing about a relationship because he's been married 3 times. So what can he tell me about a relationship? I'll wait.
How to get into 3 of them?
How to marry up. And then Travis said, you can learn how to and how not to do any and everything from everybody. I agree.
That part is true.
Now, I will say this. I think that we don't look at celebrities for relationship goals, but I think that you do look at celebrities for motivation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you hear certain stories, you're like, okay, let me get off my butt and go do something. Mm-hmm. And I think that some people confuse that. Like, it's not. For instance, I love Oprah Winfrey, and I love her for several different reasons. People talk about she sold her soul to the devil, all this stuff. People always come up with stuff when you on the top. Mm-hmm. But nobody was saying anything when she was molested, you know, when she was raped, when she lost her child, when everybody was calling her ugly in the 80s, and talking about how this woman, quote unquote, what they wanted to call the ugly fat woman, ended up becoming a billionaire, and now all of a sudden she's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, all of a sudden she's the greatest thing, and we want those people inspire me because that's someone who went against all odds. Yeah. That's not me a fan. That's me admiring something that somebody did, just like it did with somebody I knew. Yeah. And I think that sometimes we confuse that. Yeah. I can still be proud of your accomplishment, and it can inspire me without me being a quote unquote fan, becoming, you know, a fanatic over you.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
And you were going to say something about, y'all said it was something that was a whole conversation.
Well, Tanya has said that she judges celebrities for being, she only looks at them for being celebrities.
I do too.
Yeah, and that's, again.
That's not because a lot of people, when celebrities fall from grace or whatever, they're like, well, they're a role model. No, they're not. They are a celebrity. Their job is to sing, perform, shoot basketball, whatever it is they're doing. They are a celebrity. Now, some of them can be role models based on their character, but just because you're making the money and you're running up and down the court every night and you reach that level of success on the basketball court does not necessarily make you a role model to somebody's child. Yeah. And it's like, and I think people confuse that. They're like, well, he's already doing this or she's doing that. She's a role model. Well, maybe they should be one, but they may not possess the maturity and the character to be anybody's role model. You chose make them a role model. They didn't ask for that job. They were just doing what they good at.
But I disagree with that. I think that role model is something you don't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up and be a role model today." No, it's something that just happens to you. And if you take on a platform, you have to be responsible for everything that that platform brings. You don't have that luxury. It's just like once you become a celebrity, you know there's gonna be cameras everywhere. You don't have that luxury to do what you and I can do. We can go to Lowe's looking any kind of way, and we won't be on the magazine. You will be on a magazine. You can't go do those
But
things.
then I disagree with that. It's like I just don't think that necessarily makes you a role model because you are a great actor or actress. It's like because your role is to put on a mask.
But the role model is determined by the one who wants to model after you, not you. So you have nothing to do with it. There are people that say, you know what, Kim is my role model that you never met.
That's true.
And it's nothing you can do about it. You can't say, I'm not a role model. No. If they look up to you and want to model their life after your role, you ain't got no say in that. And unfortunately, when you put yourself out there, now you got other, like Isaiah, you probably Isaiah role model because you're the only person he loves.
I love you too, honey.
Lord have mercy.
But I can see what you're saying, but I'm just saying that everybody that is a movie star, that is an actress or actor that's on the basketball court, on the baseball field, all of those people are not role models. They shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be role models.
Right. It's like, but you're taking their talents as a good actress, as a good actor, as a good baseball player, and saying that that person is somebody you want to model after their skill set, yes, but you don't know anything about their character. So then when they fall from grace, you're like, well, they are a role model. They shouldn't have done that. Well, they're doing what they're good at. They play. And they go out there and they put their heart into it, but they didn't sign up. And they never said that I'm going to be this person that you should model yourself after. They just said, I'm good at this and I love doing this. I'm going to do this.
But you don't have a choice in it. They can't say it. It's not like somebody wake up and I don't know nobody who was like, when I grow up, I want to be a role model.
Well, they may not say that, but I'm just saying that in your life, you're doing what you're good at and what you enjoy. And we decide that we're going to model ourselves after them. And then when things don't go as what we wanted it to, they're like, well, you were a role model. You shouldn't have done it. Well, I was just being me. I've been me all along.
Yeah, I agree with both y'all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with both y'all saying because both of those things, all of the things you said are true. In my opinion, yeah, no one says, well, at least I don't think anyone says, I want to be a role model. But like Jay said, it's also not. But like Jay said, it's not really up to that person because they can't help it. People want to be like them. And so I think that the crux of the problem is just that celebrity worship that's at an all-time high.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's with social media, it has basically gave it a steroid injection. And so because now you're inundated with celebrity and fame and all this other stuff, and so now, yeah, people want to be like those people. Like you said, they don't want to be. They may not want to be. I guess they get confused where they want to be like what makes that person famous, or they want to model skill set. But the person, yeah, may not. You don't know what the person's like when they're not.
But if you really think about it, a lot of it is talent. It's just like I tell people all the time. There's no different than LeBron James and a pastor.
Yeah.
The pastor didn't sign up to be no role model, but we put that same thing. You're supposed to be a pastor. No, he's supposed to just preach the word. And that's his job. It's preach the word.
That you're human.
But we treat them totally different, and we do have a different expectation. I think that what we do, we have become a society that lacks accountability, and we feel like, oh, I can only do, and that's my right. No, you have to take ownership of your total package, and those are the things that you do when you get on a platform that's just like you. We talk about this. You joyful living. You can't afford to be out here looking any kind of way. They're like, what's wrong, man? It's the joyful living.
Grocery store looking like a homeless woman. I did it.
But you can't have bad days. It's just like me, like, they don't want me to say the same thing. You love having it because there is an expectation with your gift, and unfortunately, you got to be accountable for it. We got to go cry in the door.
I think that the duality of people and getting back to that is very much, and that's why I'm a fan of certain celebrities who are themselves unapologetically. They don't care what people say or think about it. That's why I'm a fan of, because like Jay said, when you are a certain status of celebrity, or when you are something that people look up to, they don't expect you to have a bad day or do this and that. And that's something that we definitely need to get away from. People are people.
And so it doesn't matter if they make $100 million because they can shoot, or if they make, you know what I'm saying, $20,000 a year because whatever, you know. So
We got more comments. You ready? Malika said it's hard to be unattractive when you got $1 billion.
that's true. Money talks. Money talks. And it looks good too.
And Isaiah said, I feel that Beyonce is much of a role model as 45. Tony Braxton is a celeb for lupus, and Lettucey is a good celeb for mental health, etc. And then Isaiah talking about I love you. Just log off. Talking about I love you too, Kim. And then he said,
some people, you know, they're just down for you and they got you all the time. Isaiah,
well, when you come down, Isaiah, I ain't even gonna come
see
see
you in
you.
July.
No, just spend time with Kim. I don't even want to see you.
That's okay. That is all right. You can handle it.
And Tanya said the celebrity is not the role model for my kids. I filter all that, and a character, an actor can motivate my kid, but I'm their role model. She gonna check it, basically saying you can motivate them, but I'm gonna be their role model.
Yeah.
And Isaiah said he had a classmate in high school who said he wanted to be an adult film star. And he was saying that since the first grade until they graduated. And Malika said we try to impose our fantasies into celebrities' lives. It's not really fair, but it is the nature of the beast of fame. I agree. And then Matanya said we gotta be careful with idolatry. I agree, all jokes aside. Isaiah said you need to practice what you preach, period. Malika said that that's where maintaining your authenticity becomes important. And then Isaiah said, see y'all, no, you'll see Kim in July. And then Natanya said, American society has no moral conscience or legal obligation. She is a selective whorish in aligning to what principles are profitable.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, y'all.
Well, no, that's sad. So it's 9:27.
Oh, wow.
Told you an hour goes by fast.
We missed like 2 whole times. We have to catch those next time.
Whenever we do, because it always be something that we don't get. So we didn't get to your topics. We sorry, but you can always we can have other discussions if you're not part of the Love is a Parable group. Throw your topics there, and we can have healthy discussions there as well. Okay, Kim, it's time for Positive Brother shout out. Go.
Well, actually, I want to shout out Cordell and Jay because I don't know if you guys remember this, but the night that you all met me, we were at an event, and I had on a lace dress, and I sat down on a little stool, and it rolled off and back from under me. And you guys, that was the night I met you all, scooped me up before I ever knew I was on the floor. It was one other guy there, and I can't remember his name, so I want to shout you all out because y'all didn't let me roll around on the floor that night.
She fell, y'all. It was a slow fall, too. It was slow. It was like,
I'm falling. I can feel it now. But before the stool was even gone, y'all had me back up on my feet. And you know, I'm not a little girl, so I'm like, it was like, did y'all see? It's like I felt like I had wings.
It was CJ.
CJ, that's right. I was like, I had wings, so I'm like, pop right back up.
Just sit on down.
No, seriously, though, I want to shout y'all out for that night, but thank you for what you're doing here. It's like because you're really just ending a lot of negativisms, and you're really bringing a lot of light to a lot of topics that nobody's talking about. So that you must shout out for tonight. And Uncle Marcus, it was so nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Well, Uncle Marcus is on you. Positive Brother shout out.
Just what Kim said. Thank you, brothers, for having me again tonight. And like I said, shout out to all my 06 brothers out there. Shout out to my 52 brothers back at the crib. That's the Pope game. That I missed tonight. We need some gas money. Just shout out to all the brothers out there who are watching the live broadcast and feel like they got some inspiration and feel like they have somewhere to go and feel like they're not alone and there's always somewhere you can go and talk to people. And just know that there's always other brothers who experience the same thing that you are, and that there's always somebody that you can turn to.
That's good stuff.
That was good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of just dropped the mic. Oh, look, Uncle Marcus will be at the table discussion on the 30th, so make sure y'all tune in.
Positive brothers. Of course, you know, all the brothers in the room with me today. As everybody knows, anybody who talks to me and knows me knows that I talk about Uncle Marcus a lot and my Uncle Antoine. They've been very, very inspirational and very, very important in my life. Uncle Marcus is one of my role models for various reasons. So, you know, I definitely want to shout him out. And my other, Uncle Antoine, my dad. Of course, my brother Jay. We've been rocking for a long time now. We got a lot of work to do, but we've also done a lot. It's been a fun ride. So I definitely want to shout you out. And also to all the brothers that are watching and to all the brothers that are going to come to any of our future events or are there even going to be just, you know, messaging us or anything like that. All the future brothers. I always take the time to shout the future brothers because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to talk to. Even if you don't talk directly to them, somebody's going to, you know, hear about it. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just want to shout out, you know, Frederick is on, brother Frederick.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, I actually want to shout out, like, I had a whole conversation with Kerwin today.
Yeah.
That he really inspires me.
You know what I was saying? Yes, Kerwin.
Kerwin really inspires me, and he's a great guy. Like, in the public, he is who you see. He's very supportive. And so I definitely want to give him a shout out because he has inspired me, and I don't even tell him. I was like, let me tell this boy he inspired me. But and definitely that person that feels like they're not man enough, or they don't have what it takes, or they don't have time to support that brother who don't get the opportunity to get loved on because he may not have family, or he may not have friends, or he may not have time.
Yeah.
Share this message and share our love with those brothers. Like, I appreciate everybody who come in. I love the people who always tune in every Thursday, but our community is global.
Yeah.
And there are brothers who do commit suicide. There are brothers who do have other type of mental illnesses. There are brothers who are just tired, and you never know how this message will help because we get it in our inbox.
Yep.
You know, and there are also brothers who are wrestling things that you don't know about. So share the message, share hope. And I want to encourage that brother because you never know what he's going through, and you never know how this may help.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, I remember when we first started Love is a Parable, right after we launched the video, we got a response that someone said, I was contemplating committing suicide until I saw your video. So you can never forget that, and it was a male. So you can never forget that, and you want to continue to push. So shout out to that brother who's just trying to survive and trying to make it through. All right? Well, that's it for us. We love you guys. We will see you next week.
See y'all later.
Y'all take care.
Go get some sleep.